What's going on, everybody? My name is Steven. You're watching the Fowl Airgun channel, and today we're going to shoot us some pumpkins with the Texan 457. So today we're going to be shooting out of the Airforce Texan. This is chambered in 457 caliber, and we're going to be slinging some wonderful big chunks of lead from Nielsen Speciality Ammo. This is NSA Specialty Ammo here. Be sure to go check them out always. And we're going to sling some lead down range, and we're going to take us out a few pumpkins. We're not going to get any kind of ballistic coefficients whatsoever from shooting the pumpkins, but we're going to do it to have a little bit of fun. Right, so check it out. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to shoot us a couple pumpkins out here at 40 yards using the Airforce Texan in 457 caliber. Go over a little bit of numbers with you as far as some preliminary shooting that I did. Anyways, to get some numbers for everybody, because I don't want to have the chronograph out right now. I'm actually trying to shoot this video quickly so I can get back on to my beautiful day while I have no kids right now. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to be shooting, let's start out with what we are going to be shooting, which are going to be the NSA 457 196 grain slugs. So again, this is with the, I put the stock spring, hammer spring back into my Texan as well as the stock valve. And I want to see what this thing was shooting just straight, or actually really what I want to do is give my viewers out there something that you would purchase straight from a manufacturer. This would be stock rifle here, stock version, and just see what kind of shooting we could do with this. Now, I've used this rifle quite a bit. I've done quite a few videos on this rifle, but specifically for this video, what I want to do is I'm going to be shooting quite a few different game animals this year with this. Plan to shoot rabbit with this. I plan to possibly even shoot some squirrels with this thing, and we'll show you why and how that's going to be possible in this video, hopefully. So anyways, what I've done and where we're going to start is stock spring Texan 457, 40 yards to get some accuracy here. We're going to light this pumpkin up down here. Now, what I have figured out, and I have shot a lot of numbers over the chronograph for this. So this first one here, what I filled to for basically the flash trajectory, what I want is when I go out into the field, I'm not going to be carrying my tank with me, any big heavy tank or anything to sort, like, or even an auxiliary extra tank for this. I want to be able to take light, just myself, nothing pretty much. Most of the time when I do hunting, I'm pretty much just walking casually through the woods. So I like to pack light, so what I tend to take is just the rifle itself and rely on how many shots I can get out of that rifle. Generally, when you're out hunting anyways, depending on what you're shooting at, if you're shooting squirrel, I understand. If you're out shooting at rabbit and stuff, you know, when you have something with big power like this, it tends to work a little better. Just know where your shot placement is and everything will be alright. So, let's spill the beans a little bit on this. A lot of people, they kind of hack up the name of the Airforce Texan, I believe, because they go off about how you can only get 3 shots out of this rifle, and that's not true. So what I have figured out here, stock rifle here, and this is the Airforce Texan 457 CF, so this is the carbon fiber version here with the TX2 valve. I need to mention that. And if you have this set stock as it is, and when you open up your valve here, cock your hammer back on our power wheel here back here, we have ourselves set to exactly half power. Okay, so you get that line right there on that that halfway hash mark there. And what I have found out is that if we can really tune it down there, and we only fill to 3000 psi, which is where we're filled currently at for this first shooting here, 196 grain NSA are shooting a fantastic group, 6 shots, same fill, no problems. Got a huge nest of these yellow jackets around my house I've had an issue with. Sorry, I apologize for that. Anyway, so you get 6 shots, same point of aim, same point of impact pretty much, for 6 shots, over 6 shots. So the 3-shot theory with the Texan is kind of gone after you get to kind of playing around with this rifle a little bit and kind of dialing it in and see what works with this rifle. I've had this for a couple years, so I've had some chance to play around with it a little bit. So this is what we got for you. 196 grain NSA ammo, half power on a half hash mark on a power wheel here, and we are filled up to 3,000, not 3,600 psi. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna shoot ourselves a pumpkin here. All right, 3,000 psi. Gotta lose the hat because I don't want to get brimmed again. Make sure our camera's still up and going down range. All right, here we go. First shot. This first shot one. 3,000. First shot drops down to about 2,800 psi, somewhere right in there. And for our numbers, we're getting a high of 956 out of 6 shots and a low of 813. That's bringing us down to about 2,500 psi. This is shot number 3. Shot number 3 there, right about 2,200 psi. Yep. Shot number 4, still rolling. At about 2,100 psi. And for our final shot, we're right below 2,000 psi, somewhere right in there. Oh, I believe that last shot got squirrely on us. Alright, 6 shots. Right there. When I chronographed these numbers, I got 956, 933, 894, 857, 855, and 813. Some pretty impressive numbers there. With not a bad drop, even out at 65 yards, and a pretty decent group out at 65 yards. Getting a high of almost 397.7 foot-pounds and a low of 287.6, and getting a solid 6 shots back-to-back with a nice group. Let's go have a look at this group. All right, y'all, so here we go, 40 yards, and this is pumpkin number 1 with our 196 grain shot here, and this is 6 shots right here. Unfortunately, it does blow the pumpkin out a little bit there, so you can't quite get the tight figures like you can you know, up here on paper, but you get the point. Still 6 shots with the Texan right here at 40 yards, making a nice hole and not leaving much for the pumpkin. So there's pumpkin number 1 with the NSA 196 grain slugs. Let's move on. All right, so here we go on pumpkin number 2. But before we move on to pumpkin number 2, I got to mention that we did shoot the 196 grain NSA slugs, and we shot them at full hash mark power wheel adjustment on the power wheel here. Full power on this thing as far as we can get it to go in, and we were getting a high of 1,044, and which is 474.3 foot-pounds of energy, which is quite a bit, and a low of 914 feet per second. A pretty substantial loss of air, dropped well below 2,000 psi, so the group was not good, to say the least. But those are the numbers for anybody that may be into some numbers out there. So if you want to tune that thing all the way up with 196 grain slugs from NSA, you're just really not going to be getting the best groups. But if you tune down to half power and you shoot at 3,000 psi, you get 6 pretty good shots out there. Out at 65 yards, you get about a half MOA up drop out there, so it's really not terrible. The group opens up from out at 40. It's roughly about 1.5 inches, somewhere around there. It opens up to about, you know, 3, maybe 4 inches, somewhere around there. Still a good circular group out there, so to speak, 65 yards. But yeah, for some numbers for you. So anyways, we're aired back up, 3,600 psi max fuel, and we're gonna sling us some of these big guys on full power. So I'm gonna go, these are gonna be our 400 grain NSA boat tails. So these are just the big guys here. All right, I got a thing adjusted as far in as it'll go. And I know this first one launches at a relatively high speed. We got right here on the first one at 400 grains, 824 feet per second on that first shot. And even on the last shot, we got 743 feet per second, which is still slinging these 400 grain slugs at great speeds. A lot of power there. What are we getting here? 602 foot-pounds of energy max. So this right here is 602 foot-pounds of energy. Let's put it on that pumpkin out there. Man, that thing thumps. So first shot there, and that's going to drop us from 36 to about right about 2,900, right below 3,000. There's our first shot. Now the point of this is same fill. Need that scenario, you know, to really be full on out there in the field. Capture that scenario of you know, you got nothing but what you're running off air in the bottle. So this is shot number 2 with a 400 grain. We're going to see how much drop or any drop, or what's the deal, how much drop we're going to get right here at 40 yards, same point of aim. That's really the big thing I'm going for here. So here's our next shot. Heck of a shot there too. And that thing right there, you'll feel that in your shoulder in the morning. Aim for our final shot, and that took us right to about 25. That might even be 20, closer to 2,600 psi. So not a bad loss in air. And this is again, this is a nice size slug here, 400 grains. So this is nothing to play with. So 40 yards, and we're getting no real big spread here, so that's good. All right, and I think we hold that one right into the same hole there, and that's going to bring us right to about just over 2,000 psi, which according to these numbers, right, well, yeah, it's like right about 2,100 psi, somewhere around there. So there's your numbers for that, guys. Let's go down there and have a look. Okay, get our camera turned off downrange here. Here we are out at 40. This is pumpkin number 2. And here you have your 3 shots at 40 yards with the 400 grain NSA boat tail slugs. And you can just see that even out at 400 yards, I'm sorry, at 40 yards, pardon me, that was a terrible mistake there. Out at 40 yards, you got a thumb separation right between there, so you're looking at 1 inch and a piece there. So not bad if you're relying on, you know, just your 3 shots. And actually my first shot was low here, and then my second 2 were just holed right through there. So I expect that last one's probably going to fall there, or maybe even perhaps a bit lower on the 4th shot. So that's what we got with 400 grain right here on the front, and some small penetration. This is something I noticed too. These 400 grain slugs, they don't make a huge impression on the front. Let's take a look at the back here. See what we got. And unfortunately, pumpkins just aren't the most reactive targets when it comes to shooting some targets out here. So we're shooting these pumpkins, and still a little bit of a blowout here. Nice holes in there. You see, stick your finger right on in there, but nothing crazy, nothing spectacular. Actually 400 grain NSA slugs. Let's go shoot some more. I'll move on now to the 290 grain, the ever famous 290s from NSA here. Out at 40 yards. We're gonna whack this pumpkin a few times and see what happens. So we are at 3,600 psi. That is your 290 grain NSA slug. 3,600 psi. Let's send them out there and see what we get. All right, here we go. First shot, and first shot we were hitting a high of well, this was just what our last shot string we did, 914 feet per second starting out here. So we'll be moving these at low 900s first shot. Here we go. Shooting high. Blew the top right off of that daggone pumpkin. And that's going to bring us down to about roughly 3,000 psi. Well, that's kapooey that it moved our pumpkin. And blew the top off. Let's try again. There's another one. That's shot number 2, bringing us down to about 27-ish, 100 psi, somewhere around there. Nice shot, bringing us down to about 23, 24. I think I'm going to try and sling just one more and see if we can push one more of these 290s out here. So this would be 4 shots. Let's see how much of a spread we get here down there at 40 yards. Not bad at all. And that only brought us down just a couple hundred psi, still above 2,000, right at like 2,100 psi. So let's go have a look at it. I'm up on pumpkin number 3. This is going to be the pumpkin that took our 290 grain NSA slugs here, and actually really cool. If you look at the top of this pumpkin here, this is our first shot. Like I said, unfortunately it kind of moved the pumpkin a little bit, but it just skimmed the whole top of this guy here and just took the whole pumpkin stem and everything just right along with it. Just a nice clean track, blew right on back and went probably right on through this board here. Well, no, I'm really surprised they haven't came out yet, but they're bulging through. So yeah, this here is our entrance point of aim, and we were hitting high. We hit high with the first one here, so our point of impact was roughly there. So from there to there, you're still not getting a huge spread, and this is our last 3 shots here in this nice little placement. So 290 grain special, pretty good choice there at 40 yards off the same air tank. So let's go back and shoot some more. Alright y'all, so here we are, 4th and final pumpkin here, and for this we are going to be shooting the Nielsen 348 grain knurled tail hollow point, and that's a nasty hollow point there. I've done a couple of videos in the past about these slugs. I'm very fond of them. As far as expansion, I mean, you just can't beat a hollow point like that. They use kind of like a hexagonal type die there for the hollow point in the end there, and I'll tell you, man, the thing just, it opens right on up. Shot some watermelons and things in the past that have been pretty reactive to these, so I don't expect that the pumpkin will be very reactive, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lose quite a bit of the pumpkin anyways. Alright, so 3,600 psi. We're at a full power adjustment on this thing here. We're gonna see what kind of power we get. So we were getting a shot at 824, and then we actually got a shot, our second shot was a bit higher at 834, finishing off at 805. So still in that 800 feet per second range, moving. All right, let's say goodbye to this last pumpkin here. Right in the eye. Left a very clean hole in there, and that's gonna bring us from 36 down to about 3,000 psi, somewhere right in there. Let's give it a go again. Blew, just skirted a little bit off to the side there, unfortunately. Might have been a little bit of a flyer to drop it down to about, only about 2,900 psi, so not bad. And for our last shot here, well, possibly last shot, we'll see what happens here with this one. Definitely tearing that pumpkin up. And that's going to bring us down, that's going to bring us down to that just about dead zone, which is 2,200 psi, somewhere in there. Well, I'll shoot one more for the heck of it. Can't hurt. Why not? See if this thing dips real low or anything here. No, it's still pretty on there. Unfortunately, it was rotating there with the camera, so we probably lost it a little bit there in downrange video. But anyways, that'll wrap it up there. Wrapping it up with these 348s. And like I said, the whole point of this video is deer season's coming up, and this will be my first ever deer with an air gun, and I am super excited. The Texan's gonna be right there working with me. It's gonna be a ball. I hope you guys get to come enjoy that video with me. So we're gonna go down, we're gonna take a look at this and talk a little bit about our results. Right, so here we are, pumpkin number 4, and the pumpkin just did not make it. Here is the side of our pumpkin from our first shot with that 348, and then right on through the board there. And unfortunately, actually you can just see some of the lead right here imprinted on the pumpkin. So we got right there. Our other shot was right here, so we're still at a spread right there of about 2 inches, maybe a hair bit over, 2 and a piece, 2 1/4, somewhere right in there. So we have a shot somewhere down in here, and we have one right here. So this would probably be our extreme spread here, somewhere in that range. So still like 4-inch group or so right out here with 4 shots, which we went a little bit above the intended, but this is our first shot here. Nice clean puncture hole, and you can just see that 348. You can just tell a big difference between something like the 400, how this punches through and makes a much wider hole right in the front. And I don't know what the back looks like, but let's see. Well, there just really ain't much of the pumpkin left. Unfortunately, the knurled 348s, they just don't play, man. And that one shot right there to the side just destroyed this pumpkin. So here we go. That was our 348 grain Nielsen out at 40 yards. All right, sweet guys. So just want to bring you guys out here to share that video with you. I'm still out here shooting air guns pretty much daily. It's really hard to keep up with videoing every single thing I do, because when I'm getting out and I'm just going in the backyard for whether it be a quick blinking session or whether it be running to somebody in at Walmart and, you know, talking air guns with them, or, you know, out here in the local community, it stays busy around here for the Fowler Air Guns community. Anyway, so yeah, shooting these Nielsen slugs out here at 40 yards out of the Texan 457, just seeing what things can do as we get ready, get prepared for this hunting season coming up. I'm super excited, guys. I mean, I really am. Like I said, never shot a deer with an air gun, so stay tuned for that video, because you're really gonna want to see that. I'm gonna do my best to capture some really great footage for you. And out here on my property, I have a ton of deer out here, a ton of deer that run wild out here. So it's going to be a really good picking game, as well as choosing and just having some fun and using air guns at that. So that's going to be what's going to be really awesome about this year, is going to be switching it up entirely and shooting air guns and shooting at big game with air guns. So it's going to be very interesting. So again, we were shooting some NSA ammo out here at 40 yards out of Texan, off the same bottle, just kind of playing around with some power adjustments and seeing what things will do, how much air we're going to lose, how much drop we're going to get. You know, generally out shooting, you're only going to make, you know, 1 or 2 shots or so when you're out hunting, but you never know. You have those, you know, those rare occasions come up where you might take a shot. And I apologize, these little tiny no-see-ums out here are trying to tear my noggin up. So you get that rare occasion where you may end up having to take a few more shots than you intended to. So it's good to be prepared and know exactly where you're at. And when shooting air guns, especially something like the Texan, I really want to know this gun in and out, so that when I go out into the field and I go to harvest big game, I'm not out there making myself look like a fool. I know where I'm shooting at. I'm not going to take any kind of inhumane shots or anything. It's going to be a great time. Can't wait to share it with you. I can't stress that enough. So just want to bring everybody out here with me again to the range, shoot at 40 yards, some NSA ammo, and we'll shoot some different stuff as time goes on. But for right now, I found that NSA just seems to work well for me. That's just me. Doesn't have to be for you. Anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoy watching this video with me today. Thanks for joining me. If you guys have any comments, anything you'd like to say, so what I'm really curious to is I've been playing around a little bit with the 196 grain ammo from NSA. And like I said, dialing it down at 3000 psi and on half power, still making 400 foot-pounds of energy and getting 6 shots. So it kind of makes me wonder, should I attempt the 196 this year on a deer? Is that going to be enough? Leave your comments below, let me know what you think. Or am I just going to have to bounce back and just go back to kind of like my original thinking, which is, you know, I'm probably going to use these Neural 348s or the 350 boat tails. I haven't really decided. The 290s, there's just so many choices, so many decisions to make. If you guys have any comments, make sure you leave the comments below. Let me know if you like this video. If you do, please like it. Subscribe if you would. You don't have to. It's great if you would, so you can follow me for more. So if you like my videos, you get that content. So make sure you subscribe, follow me for more. And as always, we'll see you next time.